next chapter that we need to read is with respect to natural vegetation and wildlife. As the name itself indicates, it has relation with environment and ecology. In environment and ecology, you will be actually reading about different forests that are present in India. But here, we are actually looking at a broad classification of forests, and information here is very less. I'll just tell you some factual information that you need to remember with respect to the natural vegetation in this chapter. But later, I'll tell you the geographic distribution of this properly. Because initially some factual information is required, later we will be looking at this with the help of climatology. The reason for this is, why do you see evergreen forest in Brazil? I have to talk about climatology. Brazil comes near equator, temperature will be more. There are a lot of information that I need to provide before going into this basics. So because of that, some factual information in this chapter is enough. So let us quickly look at what are these. The first classification, which is very, very important for us, is about the tropical evergreen forests. When we talk about the tropical evergreen forest, we usually see that you have large trees, then you have small trees, then you have small. Usually we see a layer, and there will be no space left for the sunshine to go down. We call this a thick canopy. We call this the thick canopies of the closely spaced trees do not allow the sunlight to penetrate even in the daytime. Hardwood trees, rosewood, ebony, mahogany are common. They may give you which of the following are actually present in tropical evergreen forest, right? So this information is important. The most important information is that tropical evergreen forest in Brazil is so enormous that it is called as lungs of the earth. Why? The reason is simple. Forests convert carbon dioxide into oxygen. As they convert carbon dioxide into oxygen, and these are very important. Oxygen is very important for the human beings, so they call it to be this. Don't think that lungs means it absorbs oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide. But it's in a different context they are actually talking about. Then we talk about deciduous forests. Evergreen forest means they never shed their leaves. There is no dry season. Rainfall will be there throughout. Deciduous forest means there will be a particular period when the rainfall will not be there. Whenever the rainfall is not there, you all are aware that leaves, they usually allow water to evaporate. We call it transpiration. To avoid this, trees shed their leaves. What is the reason? The reason is simple, that when you shed your leaves, you will not allow water to go out. Already the water is less. So at that point of time, the leaves will shed or they die out so that water does not evaporate. So this type of forest where you see a dry season present is called as tropical deciduous forest. So here, sal, teak, neem and shisham are the most important plants. Whenever I underline them, you have to remember it for sure. Then you have tigers, lions, elephants, langurs and monkeys, not so important. I'll tell some important facts whenever it is actually important. Then we are actually talking about temperate evergreen forest. We saw tropical evergreen forest. Tropical region means it actually falls in between 23.5 to 23.5. From that is 23.5 degree north to 23.5 degree south. When I am talking about temperate, I am talking about 23.5 degree north to 66.5 degree north. And I am talking about 23.5 degree south to 66.5 degree south. So here I am talking about a particular region. Temperate evergreen forest. The difference is, in tropical region, usually temperature never go below 18 degrees Celsius. Even in winters, temperature will be on an average 18 degree. But in temperate region, we usually see that the maximum temperature is usually 18 degrees Celsius. Usually in winters, temperature go very low. So we'll be going across all this. So temperate evergreen forests are located in the mid-latitudinal coastal region. They are commonly found along the eastern margin of the continents. This will be asked. The reason for this is rainfall will be more in this region. I have already told you, don't try to remember any information regarding the distribution now because you are not aware of the geographical factors. You don't know where heavy rainfall is there in the world. When you don't know heavy rainfall in the world, how is it possible for you to actually locate which forests are present in which place? So the trees are very, very important. Oak, pine and eucalyptus. Right? Remember all these. The reason for this is you see tropical forests present at lower surfaces. You all are aware that with increasing latitude, temperature decreases. At the same time, with increasing height or altitude, temperature decreases. So, if any forest is present near the equator, they will be present near the ground surface as well. But if any forest is present at higher latitude, say 40 to 50 degree, then it will be present at greater heights also. Because temperature with increasing latitude and temperature with increasing altitude is almost same. So, if you are actually observing some trees which are present in Canada, which is at higher latitude, it will be present in India in higher altitude. That is, on the mountains it will be present. Then you also talk about temperate deciduous forest. You already know about temperate and deciduous. So what is more important? Oak, ash and beech, deer, foxes, wolves. If you can see this, it's more than enough. Then along the Mediterranean Sea, we get Mediterranean vegetation. The peculiarity of this is that you usually see rainfall in winter and it will be dry during summer. In India, rainfall is in summer and winter is dry. But in Mediterranean region, winter rainfall, summer dry. Because of this, what happens? Usually, wine and other orchards are usually grown. They are also known as orchards of the world. Now, can you see here? They are known as orchards of the world for fruit cultivation. As fruits, grapes and other things usually gives wine, usually we observe viticulture in this region. Right? You can see citrus fruits like oranges, figs, olives and grapes are commonly cultivated. Again I told you, I'll take time to explain you about all these factors. Then we are talking about taiga or coniferous forests. So here you can see the pictures of coniferous forests. So where exactly will you see this? They are actually present in northern hemisphere, Canada and Russia. In Russia it is called as taiga. And we are talking about chir, pine, cedar are the most important one. You usually get softwood evergreen. In tropical region, hardwood is usually seen, which is used for infrastructure and all. But softwood is usually used for making paper, newsprint and pulp. Matchboxes, packing boxes are actually made from softwood. Silver fox, mink, polar bear are the most common animals found in this region. Next, we have to look at grasslands. What are these? The meaning of this is very simple. See, if you have heavy rainfall throughout the year, you get evergreen forest. If there is a dry period, we call it deciduous forest. But if the rainfall is very less, usually you find grasslands. And these grasslands are divided into two. One is tropical grasslands, another one is temperate grasslands. You might have heard of the term savanna grasslands of Africa. Is the most common one here. And when I talk about the temperate grasslands, then I am talking about prairies, pampas, steppes. The names are actually given here. Please try to remember them. If possible, mark in your atlas. In Africa, you see savanna. Brazil Campos Llanos. But these three are tropical grasslands. Argentina is Pampas. North America or US and Canada we call prairies. South Africa it is called as veld. Central Asia it is called as steppes, and in Australia it is called as downs. Just below that you can also write New Zealand. It is actually called as Canterbury. Right? So these are very, very important for you. Now, after seeing these, we also have to look at the last one, that is thorny bushes or deserts. So deserts are two types. One is hot desert like Rajasthan, cold desert like Ladakh. Right? So these are some of the important things that you have to see. Don't remember anything apart from what I have shown you. Over a period of time, I'll show you these things in detail. So in these chapters, in future also, you will be going through these basic information and nothing more than this.